Hello. So we meet again, ASMR microphone. So today I was feeling like I want to do a space alien creature. Not so much a character, but a monster, space monster. I can, maybe hard surface design. I was listening to hey Captain Boss, how's it going? I was listening to Darko Marakovic or whatever his surname is. Sorry, and he was interviewing Sava, and Sava being a primarily sci-fi director. He likes. Oh well, thank you, Captain Boss. Hey, Fight Milk. And Sava being director for mostly sci-fi projects, or he do sci-fi projects on his as a projects on his own, and then he does work. Or no, obviously work is other things, but mostly sci-fi, right? And I was joking like, when are we gonna collaborate? And he said, oh, you're gonna have to do hard surface design, ha ha ha, and Darmar has to do creature design, which is polar opposite more or less. But I made me think like I can do hard surface. I can do hard surface. That's not the problem at all. Maybe I should do that today, just for the sake of F you, Sava. Not really that aggressive, but I wonder what. I mean, obviously because of my dark fantasy, a lot of updates. I haven't done a lot of sci-fi stuff publicly, but I mean, I can do it for sure, no problem. But I mean, I've done a lot of it, just not in recently. Maybe I should start doing some hard surface stuff. Captain Boss, yeah, exactly. That is the right. They were working on this edition since February. I mean, we could have squeezed in the winners, but then, I mean, they would have had to be interviewed. We had to find someone to interview, and everyone that was winners had to be available to answer it quickly, put it into the mag, edit it, proofread it. You know, it was going to be tight. So it's the next edition. It's a yearly magazine, but the next year's edition, the winners will be in the magazine, and it will be a feature. You know, like it will be an article about Unreal Bjorn and the winners and so on. So that's the reason. I mean, ideally we would have fitted in, and the original idea is that Firestarter would have been a biannual, so it would mean there would be another one in 6 months. But as the things look, the project looks, the magazine, the numbers aren't there to support that amount of effort. So Spiridon decided to do one magazine a year, but have it full of cool things. So, hello Rip. What's up? So today I will do, for me, a hard surface design. Some sci-fi space alien suit, maybe. I don't know. I find it interesting. I want to try the lights only approach, maybe, or no, blocking maybe. Oh, I don't know. There's so many options to do. Anyways, let's start the clock. So the topic is 223 hard surface. So I wanna play with that. I was inspired by listening to Sava on Darmar's interview. He does a podcast called It's a Dharma, and yesterday he talked to Sava Zivkovic, really good guy, really talented director. So if you want to, it's the actually let's not play it. Let's help you guys out. Here's to his podcast. He has done a lot of good interviews already. They are approximately 1 hour each, and he has Ben Mauro, Milan Nikolic, Jennifer Wessling, Jonathan, Ian Spriggs, Trevor Claxton, Mark Molnar, Stephen Corman, Pauline Voss. Lots of cool stuff. Good talks. It's nice and relaxed. Hey, Canvas Engineer, how's it going? Hey, Spyboot. Lurib, empty canvas. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do hard surface design today. A little bit fun, a little bit of change of pace. Kind of inspired by Milan, Sava, those people from, like I said, I was listening to Sava yesterday, and their projects and so on. It was really cool, and I thought, why not? Let's play around with hard surface and play around with approach and see where we end up. Maybe we'll end up somewhere interesting. Maybe some fun design. Who knows? I'm gonna just kind of. I don't have a picture in my head of what I'm gonna draw. The only picture I have in my head is something from Milan, what he has already designed, and he designed for intro movie. He designed like some sort of half alien pilot, and that's kind of what I'm going for with intention. Some sort of operator suit, space suit with alien shapes, kind of like it should be human but not human. That's the only guidelines I currently have. So I don't know anything else about what I'm drawing. So I'm fully just kind of reacting to shapes, and I'm drawing it rather fast. So there's no thinking involved. And so I don't know how this is going to end up looking. So we'll see. Hey, Spyboot, how's it going? Empty canvas. Lurib, indeed. I am thinking from lunchtime UK forward. I'm gonna do a half day stream or soonish. I'm not really sure, but today is definitely I'm gonna experiment with a longer stream. But the warm up will be just a warm up. Jacob Mobley asked earlier if I was gonna do the stream, start the long stream earlier, and I was contemplating of starting it 2 hours ago, but I felt that it would interrupt the kind of planning of the day in a weird way, where I would be streaming a long time, stop the streaming, start the warm-up, stop the warm-up, continue doing the half-day stream. It would have been a little bit strange. I mean, it would be great for traffic, I think. It would have gotten a lot more traffic to the warm-up, probably. I mean, we wouldn't be starting from scratch in terms of viewers. We would already, have some viewers there. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it differently next Friday. But for now, I want to just kind of, as it seems to be going to be a reoccurring thing, the half-day Fridays. I hope, if time permits, at the studio. Hopefully it'll be a reoccurring thing, so I can stream more. Spy boot. Absolutely. I don't complain at all about the traffic and the support that I get from you guys. Guys being not male, as in people. The lazy term of saying folks, people, crowd, guys, I don't know. Anyways. I'm really happy about the amount of traffic and love I get. I really appreciate it, and I don't take it for granted at all. I'm really happy about it, and it's crazy when you think about it. Actually, that for half an hour I get 40 people approximately joining in, which is fantastic, which is really nice. Hey, Weeping Jay, Max, what's up? Spy boot, nice. That's like a hella nice warm up morning coffee ritual, eh? I'm happy to see you here again, Spy boot. Max, yeah, that's great. Well, very nice to have you here, Max. So today, Max, we're doing a hard surface kind of space suit pilot captain thing. Oh, my daughter might be barging into the office soon. She's screaming, "Dad, look! Dad, look!" Maybe we'll see. Maybe have a surprise guest. Canvas engineer. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I must say though that like there's an interesting I need to Google that if this is the correct word. If that's the right word. Okay, a dichotomy. That was the right word. Whew. I'm not native English speaker, so anyways. So it's a very interesting dichotomy of skill versus performance. Dichotomy being contrast between two things, right? So one thing is like, okay, there's people streaming. There are people streaming their comfort zone, right? What they're best at. They're carving their best tits and ass image, and like pushing traffic that way. Like, hey, look at my best masterpiece illustration that I'm pushing, and or project, and all these things. And there I am, half an hour a day, drawing something from the top of my head, absolutely unplanned art, and the quality, I think, in that sense, reflects that it's absolutely unprepared, like rawness, and I mean, to some degree, if people see my stream and go, "Oh, is this the best he can do?" Like, because the culture of Twitch, right, is long term showcase of skill, right? Let's take Max Greg here, for example. By the way, I'm going to try out a new command now. Oh yeah, it worked. Shout out Max Greg. So everyone knows who I'm talking about now. For example, you, Max, you. He has a long format streams, right, where he's doing these amazing illustrations. and he showcases his skill on long format, which is the standard. And so anyone that joins his stream, maybe even though he is starting out his sketch, right? He's constructing the image. It looks shitty. I mean, I'm not saying your art looks shitty, Max, but at the beginning of a sketch, or a piece, nothing looks fantastic until you have defined it enough, right? So that it has the essentials of a strong image, and then it starts to sing, right? And people are like, "Oh wow, Max, you're so amazing," and Max is standing there like wind in his hair and is pumping out masterpieces after masterpiece, right? And that's the long long format magic. I think was really cool with Twitch in that sense, and that's also which is a little bit strange for me, not doing the long formats approach, and I'm just drawing something at the top of my head, which is the interesting aspect of it, skill versus time, or skill versus result rather. Spyboot. Well, that's true. I mean, you can. That's also a different thing, right? For me, when I look at other streamers, most of the time I can't sit there and watch them, because it kind of makes my skin start to crawl. I need to do something. I need to hear something. And a lot of streamers. I'm not talking about you now, Max. I think you do a great stream, Max. But a lot of other streamers, it makes your skin crawl. So I think a personality definitely goes a long way to make the stream fun. It's like that great saying: everyone has something to say, but well, I'm absolutely destroying that quote, but I'm gonna paraphrase it. Everyone has an opinion, but not everyone should say it. Or you should listen to it, or the same, like not everyone isn't a teacher. The same aspect as in that sense, then everyone isn't a streamer, or a good talker. Hey, Sue the Hugh, welcome back. Say art. Yeah, today I'm just doing hard surface stuff. Hey, Slumpen, welcome back, man. Dame Deviant. It's not Dame Deviant, it's Damien Fate. Hello, how's it going? Ricky, welcome back. Spyboot, yeah, absolutely. It's definitely with game streamers. I mean, as long when they're not tits and ass streamers, titty streamers, when they're actually trying to make it an interesting experience for the viewer, is usually really interesting. But the hardest part is what I see is the long format streams are how can you make it interesting? How can you let's say construct the programming of the show, if that's how we want to put it. Like, how do you construct that program to be entertaining? I don't know. I mean, you would need a producer, I think, ideally. That would be great. Like, oh, here's a small 5-minute rerun. Like a producer could start a rerun while you're streaming, just for the sake of you not sitting there talking about cheese, Yeah, canvas engineer is really hard as a streamer, and like Max said, it's really confusing when you have to focus on the chat, focus on the people conversation. You have to be be able to focus enough on your art. Man, this design is really bad. Um, on your art and all these things, and it is a really challenging thing, and it's not an easy topic or a easy not topic, easy challenge to be able to um, kind of do that type of thing, because drawing something really good, you will have to be in the zone, in the creative zone, right? Otherwise, you're just consciously making moves. You want to be subconsciously making moves, being creative in that sense. Wait, Damien Fate, well, thank you. It's a little bit of a disaster, but hey, Sudi112. Yeah, I miss that all time. Not so much for the nostalgia, because I think nostalgia is your greatest enemy. Um, but how it was back then was a great time and a great experience. I don't think it would work today. The industry and the way things are constructed and social media and so on, it wouldn't work. But for what it was, I really miss it. It was really a great time on internet, and the creative community was fantastic. It was a sense of like Final Frontier type mentality back then. It was open source. Everyone shared. There was no ninja mode. Everyone was like, "Oh, hey, by the way, have you tried overlay?" And everyone was like, "What do you mean overlay?" And then they were experimenting with overlay and speed painting, and discovering new techniques, and it was such a central hub as well. The intensity of information was all shared in on one website, and it was very different. I miss it in that sense. The community was great. I mean, granted, there was other forums, and the other forums were great too, and they had their own take on things. But I hung around mostly at concept art, and it was a great experience. Hey, Rock Night Studios, how's it going? Spy boot, yeah, that's a great idea. Through the hue, yeah, can I elaborate? Rock Knight, no, they don't. Through the hue, yeah. So why I don't think it works anymore? Um, I think it's because people's attention span is different. The culture of information is vastly different. Not so much the platform itself, but it's more like you know the theory of Pavlov's dog, right? Is like you every time you associate the dog with food, you ring a bell, and you keep doing that, and then eventually the dog, when the dog will hear the bell, he will start salivating, and the mind says, "Oh, I heard the bell. That means I'm eating." And the dog will be like eating without actually having food in his mouth, because you've been conditioning the dog to react to the bell. So that's called Pavlov's dog, Pavlov's dog's theory, and it's all about like preconditioning a behavior based on repetition, um, and a lot of that, I think, is happening in the community, where social platforms themselves, they have a behavior that is not um, it's not going in the direction of what conceptart.org used to be, which was a centralized hub in subcategories, and you could go within the subcategories. And now everyone is spread out over the internet. Everyone gets instant updates, like split second, and replies are instantaneous, and all these things. And there's no thinking, there's no deep analysis anymore, which used to occur on the forums, and not so much conceptart.org in exclusivity, but just the general idea of how it works, right? Is that on the forums back then, I mean, we're talking 2004 now, was that someone posted something and you walked away, and in order for see the next update, you needed to refresh the whole page, and it wasn't like like a live chat like this, and then you walked away. You were thinking about it. Your post was more geared towards tomorrow than in 5 seconds, right? So next time you post maybe the day after. It was a little bit slower, but it had more intent. It gave you more opportunity to define your opinion. And then famously at the forums, it was flame wars, where more or less everyone was refreshing every second and writing a comment, and like having a comment war. And that's more like how it is today, right? When social media, instant response type thing. But most of the rhythm of those times were post by day rather than by second. So it changed completely the way people were thinking. And it's the same with learning. You didn't want to post, like if you wanted to make a statement of a technique, you wouldn't post it for, take it lightly. You would make it into a project. You would make the post read really well. You would, it was a completely different approach to anything, really. And like my analogy to Pavlov's dog is that, like to wrap up that kind of comment, is that the behavior of social media and the people using it, and in conjunction with that, information of the industry and information sharing and all these things, is that the behavior isn't there. We have trained ourselves out of that mentality, especially with new generations that are not trained in that long format. Hey, nice connection there with a different topic of discussion. Long format way of thinking is it's completely, absolutely polar opposite, and that's why I don't think it'll work anymore. It wouldn't work anymore, because people would be bored, because they've been trained out of that rhythm. And personally, I don't like it. I like that old pace of thinking, where people are actually constructing a thought instead of just vomiting out opinions. Sounds like a sour old man. Rock Knight Studios, I'm not going to Unicon, no. Rock Knight Studios, yeah, I mean, I would like them. I mean, they did invite me last year to Estonia, but at that time it was super busy, I couldn't go. I don't think people will learn that behavior unless they practice it. And as technology are moving together with usage, I don't see how it will go backwards. This design is shit. I really need to get back into designing sci-fi stuff. I really like it, but this is, and obviously designing something where you don't know what you're designing is not a good start. But yeah, it's a fun exercise. At least I know at this point what not to do. And I know that don't design something without knowing what you're designing, because then it'll end up like this. There's no direction, there's no thought, there's no purpose. It's all just empty shapes at the moment, and that's my own fault. Sloop and Boys, yeah, I like the crude and industrial looking too. This became way too organic and strange. There's no rhyme or reason behind this design. It's just bad. It's just a really bad design. I'm very unhappy. But there you go. That's a warm up for you. There's zero statement in the design. It's just mush of shapes. So in order for me to change this, that would be like, think about personality, or what's the purpose of this thing? Is it an enemy? Is it a hero? Is it a pilot? Like I said earlier, I was thinking towards the pilot, and the decisions I've been making are not geared towards pilot or any function. It's just like shape on shape, and shape sifting, and that's really not good. And then the sifting of shapes, the chosen shapes are very stiff, in the sense of that they don't have a flow in them. They don't interact with each other. And by interaction, I mean the rhythm of the shapes are not complementary to each other. They contradict each other and create noise rather than flow. And a way to fix that is to rearrange the shape and direction of the shapes into a more pleasing setup. And there's too many repetition of the same size shapes. I'll show you when I undo it. You see, it's all the same size. The distance between each shape is very similar, and when you do that, it creates a very boring read. So that was my own fault of choosing, because ground up I approached the design incorrectly. first of all, I didn't have a mental picture of what I was drawing. I was reacting to each brush mark, which is a horrible start. Secondly, there was no intent behind the design. It was clearly just shapes to shapes, reactive manner. But that's fine. That's fine. I could easily fix this, but in this instance, I'd rather just have it die, because there's no personality here. There's nothing that intrigues me. I mean, I could easily force it, right? Like make a more interesting statement, like this. Now there's at least a play with forms. Makes it a little bit more interesting to look at, but yeah, it will most likely just die. Time is up. Suri, spot on. It was my intention to show you how bad social. Lurib, Diesel Punk, yeah, I like Diesel Punk too. Yeah, the shoulder things, I mean, it has potential, but there's too many things that are obstructing it to be fully in fascinating. I mean, I would go back to it potentially. It would require a lot of rejiggling, you know, making it a little bit more fascinating, more attractive, shapes like that, but it's not too bad in the end. When I decided, like, okay, screw this, I'm gonna repair the damage. So it went a little bit better. Yeah, Brievs, right? Briedis? Is that what they're called? Slumpen, yeah, absolutely. It's vital to be able to let go of a sketch. Everything doesn't need to work, and you can let it die. All right. So the plan is, that potentially at 1 o'clock forward, I will go on a long format stream today, where I will be doing a project. Every Friday, most likely we'll be doing a project if the studio time permits it. So you will probably see me pop online in a few hours. We'll see, but if I should be. Anyways, or soonish, one or the other. Who knows? But let's raid someone now, and share the love to someone else, and then we will. Then I will might pop online later. Let's see, what's Claude? Let's raid Claude. Thank you, Max. Thanks for coming. So we're going to raid Chloe Ventura. I might pop online. I should pop online soonish. Today at least. Long format project, half-day project day at the studio. We'll see. Have a great day. Good night if you're that part of the world. Thanks everyone for joining. I will update on Discord later for sure. For those who want to join Discord, is underneath. Click follow if you want to see me pop up. Otherwise, have a great one. Outro time, and then take us to the raid. Bye.